Well, hello, my fellow David Gilmour fans. Hope you're well. Today we're going to have a look at how to play one of my very favorite Gilmour solo tracks, There's No Way Out of Here, from David's wonderful and underrated first solo album released in 1978. On the agenda today, we're going to have a look at the rhythm parts, some of the fills, the solo, of course, pretty much the whole darn thing, really. Now, There's No Way Out of Here is the definite standout track from Gilmour's first solo album, though Raise My Rent is pretty darn good, and undoubtedly would be a much more well-known track were it a Pink Floyd track, in my opinion. But the whole album in general is just full of wonderful guitar playing and interesting ideas, with a number of those ideas being bent and molded to form a couple of tracks for the Wall album just a few short years later, including Comfortably Numb and Run Like Hell. Anyway, I absolutely adore this song, and it'll be my absolute pleasure to teach those of you interested in how to play it. So let's get at this then, shall we? But first, we're in standard tuning, bridge position of the Stratocaster, and just a nice light crunch on our amp with a little touch of chorus and some reverb. So, chords that we have to deal with for the rhythm part of this one. E minor, let me get in the frame here. G, E minor, D, A, and that's the verse. And so it's E minor. Now the picking pattern here is down, down, up. And on the downstrokes of the E minor, you're really only hitting the top three strings, and they're slightly palm muted. And on the upstroke, you're catching the open G, which is part of the E minor, and a bit of the D string. Kind of like that. And that's the picking pattern used throughout almost the whole song. And then after you do that four-note picking pattern on the E minor, you're gonna transition into a G with an kind of that open 2 into a G. Now you're gonna play the same picking pattern, just the top 2 or 3 strings. On the upstroke, catch the G and the D string. And before transitioning back to E minor, you're going to do it one final time, one final down up. And then back to E, D, into an A power chord. You could go to A minor, but you're only really hitting the A string, the D string, and the G string. So it's best to probably just go to an A power chord. And then back into that again. And that whole thing repeats 4 times. I'm not going to play it 4 times, but... And at the end of the 4th time, he grabs a B, kind of a B 3-finger power chord here before transitioning back to E minor and starting the whole thing again. And that's what's playing during the verses. Now, the title of the song, There's No Way Out of Here, is actually sung during the verses and not during the chorus. Kind of interesting. So just before going into the chorus, as he's coming out of D to A, back to E, and he's just going to ride in that E minor for a little bit, for a few measures, into C, never was there an answer, there an answer. None without listening, without seeing. So the chords during the chorus, G, And you're going to, you're going to move down to the 2nd fret. Keep your fingers down here in your G position, even though you're not hitting them, because you're really only playing the top 4 strings. Move back to the 2nd fret. E minor, D, C. Ride it down just the way you did with the G. Now move back to the 2nd fret in the C position. A minor, F, E minor, C power chord, 3-finger power chord, and ride that for a few measures. So that's the chorus. G, ride it down. E minor, D, C, ride it down. A minor, F, E minor, C power chord. Repeat. Write it down. Back into the verse. And that repeats, I think there's 3 verses of that, maybe 2 choruses before getting to the solo. He does a couple of little fills here and there. You know, he grabs the 15th fret of the B string, gives that a nice full step bend with vibrato, jumps up to the 17 of the high E, gives that a nice full step bend with vibrato. Leading into the first chorus, he does this little lick. That's one of the little licks he does. Just all E minor pentatonic stuff. And then going into the second chorus, he does something very similar. One more time on that one. And that leads us up to the solo. And so the solo, that's the first few notes there. 15th fret of the B string, full step bend with vibrato. And while you have it up there, you're going to pick it again, then release it off to 12 and right back on to 15. Now you're going to give that 15 a quick bend release and then grab 14, 15 of the high E. So from the beginning. Now you're going to grab that 15, give it 3 full step bends. Just pick the first one and then just bend, release, bend, release, bend, release. And then 15, 14, right up to 15 of the B. Right into a full step bend, and when you get that bend up there, you're gonna pick it again. Kind of like that. Now while you still have that bent, you're going to pick it again, release it off to 12, and then right into a full step bend at 14 of the G. And then into this, just a lovely little phrase. Sliding into 14 of the D, down to 12 of the G, back to 14, rolling down to the 14 of the G, pre-bend, this is a quick little transition here, pre-bend that 14, release it off to 12, back up to 14 of the D, and then roll back down to the 14 of the G. right into a full step index bend at the 12th fret of the G. And you're going to release that back to the natural note at 12, and you're going to go 12, 11, back to 7, pull off 9 to 7, back on to 9. That sounds awfully familiar. There it is. Black Sabbath, right in the middle of a David Gilmour solo. So, and then we're into this. Grabbing the 9, sliding it back to 7 of the D string, then back to 5, back onto 7, slide it back to 9. Into this. Pretty simple here. 7, 9 of the G, 8, 10 of the B. And then when you get to that 10, you're going to pick it again, give it a bend release. Back up to 15 for another full step bend. I think he bends it 3 times here. Kind of like that. Bend releases. Into that. So he's going to do 3 bend releases. Back to the natural note. Pre-bend. Release the pre-bend right into a full step bend at 14 of the G. Kind of like that. Now we're going to do another pre-bend here. While we still have that bent, you're going to pick it, release it off to 12, grab 14 of the D, roll back down to the 14 of the G, off to 12, and then the final little run. Just rolling right down the pentatonic. And there's a couple of fills during the outro. He grabs this 15th fret, gives that like 3 or 4 bends. A few seconds later, grabs 17 of the high E, gives that 3 or 4 bends. Does a little play in the pentatonic here. You know, just little things. And as it's fading out, he's just playing in the pentatonic in this little box. And then it's all fading out at this point. And that's it, my friends. That's how you play There's No Way Out of Here by David Gilmour from his first solo album. I certainly hope that helped you out. And, you know, drop me a subscribe if you haven't done that already. That would be awfully nice. Hit that little notification bell so you know when I upload something new. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world. My guitar is always so dirty. God damn it. But they get used a lot, which is a good thing. So sorry about that. Anyway, take care of yourselves. Hope you're well out there in your little guitar corner of the world. I think I've already said that. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.